Anyways, after Bryan Danielson kicks Yuta over and over and over, and he's like begging for it, and I love this moment. This whenever we talk about Bryan Danielson, I'm going to tell you this is an exact moment why I'm saying he has a charisma that is like it's subtle, but it's one of my favorite bits of charisma. This guy. Because there's a point where Bryan Danielson just turns back and looks at Mox, and he just starts laughing and pointing at Yuta. Like, the fuck is this kid doing?
Yeah.
Like, impressed, but he's kind of like geeking out, you know? When he laughs at people or like smiles at them, there's not a person in AEW I like more in that moment.
It's
Like
super
there's just like,
condescending, and at
yes,
least with Yuta it was, especially towards the end when we get there. But it's super condescending, which I love,
God, he's
because
so
I'm that
good.
guy. I love the heels. What can I say?
Yeah. So he loves wearing heels, guys.
Yeah, because
But anyways, Bryan Danielson stomps Yuta though, does his big like grab him both arms stomp, and then Mox puts him in the bulldog choke. Yuta taps. Match is over, of course. Regal starts to walk down to the ring. He gets in. He pats each of the guys in the back, and the three are in there. And best friends are walking away. Yuta stops halfway up the ramp, turns around, looks at him, and starts walking that way. And the rest of the best friends are like, "The fuck are you doing?" Danhausen's just like he's just being a
yeah,
geek.
match very over.
Um, yeah, match very over. So anyways, Yuta gets in the ring and he extends a hand to William Regal. William Regal's like kind of perplexed by this. And he does the old fake where he starts to reciprocate and then with the other hand just slaps him so hard. It's not a slap in the face. This is a slap in the jaw and the neck.
Oh yeah,
I
he
mean,
caught
he
him in
just
the
hits
wrong
him
way.
right here. As soon as he hits him, Wheeler Yuta, kind of takes the momentum of the hit and then immediately squares up. But then in the frame, you see Mox and Danielson kind of walk up behind Regal. And then there's these inaudible words exchange between Yuta and Regal. There's a point where I do hear Regal say something along the lines of, "This is where you need to go because you're going to get into over your head." And then Yuta says something. He goes, I know, but you just need to go." The way he talks to people is so natural and believable to me. Fucking the best.
The
Fuck,
one of
William Regal's the best.
that whole segment was absolutely incredible, and what I think. Two things really. The way you explained how the framing worked for them to come in and like how the storytelling unfolded for those watching on TV. Whoever is the director of AEW, I assume it's the same person for both shows, is really good at doing that sort of thing because it happens in a lot of different ways. The technical direction and just the narrative direction, from the people backstage choosing the camera shots. They do a really good job of giving us these small cinematic moments that still look like wrestling. Which is really fucking cool. And then that whole moment that you're talking about with Regal, Yuta, Moxley, and Danielson in the ring, without being able to hear a word that they're saying, the nonverbals are so good and so animated and so performative. You know exactly what's happening in that moment, despite them not being mic'd up, despite them not having mics in their hand. It was a fantastic moment of performative wrestling. That whole... If it wasn't a squash match and it was a little bit more balanced in some ways, it could have been maybe match of the night for sure.
That is
Just
the
with the way it
exact
can do.
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, you nailed it. That's the exact reason. Do you think I have two questions for this, or one's a statement that will lead to a reaction, I'm sure, from you. But the first thing I want to say is, do you think that they will actually? Because at first I thought they were going to start a faction, and then Regal came in, and then I thought it was just going to be Mox and Danielson now, and I thought, okay, let that breathe for a while. But now they got me back to thinking they might start a faction. And do you think that they might actually be able to bring in people like Yuta and Daniel Garcia and folks like that? Because think about this. We're going to get to the Jericho segment in a minute. I'm going to come back to this with the Garcia statement. But yeah, I hope so. Do you think they're going to do that, man?
Man, there's already, I feel like there's a lot of factions already compared to what we see in other promotions, right? I feel like there's already a lot of alliances, but they have a big roster. I think it'll happen? Yes, but I don't think it'll look like a typical faction. I think it'll kind of look like this mentorship program type deal, maybe. You got Regal and all that. I don't think we're going to see them like line up together like the Pinnacle, which Influx, I guess, and some of the other ones. But I think they'll take folks like Wheeler Yuta, maybe like Dante Martin maybe, and like some others under their wing, and be like some sort of like support system in some way. I I can't imagine they're just going to start rounding people up into another stable. I can't.
Oh, well, AEW is everybody's in a faction. That's like their gimmick. It's like he loves factions. You know why?
Because they're
This is
cool.
speculation, everybody. This is speculation. I actually don't even
Wait,
like
so
factions.
this is speculation. You mean this is exactly what Tony Khan says? I'm going to write it down and tweet it out into the world after the show. Facts, not allegation. We're gonna get
No,
we're gonna get famous
the
one way or another.
speculation the speculation is that I think Tony Khan does it because he has such a bloated roster that he can get more people on TV by having the factions come out, even if only one is wrestling.
People
5
show up.
people can come out like best friends. You know what I mean? And it's like Trent and Danhausen were talents on this show. They were on the show, they just didn't wrestle. They
Yeah.
were just
You think
nobodies
they
on
get
the
paid?
outside.
I don't know how their contracts work. I know some wrestlers get paid by like when they actually show up and get in the
No,
ring.
I mean, they get contracts with a certain guarantee, I believe,
Do they?
so
That's good.
I believe so, yeah, I agree.